You were 19, huh?
Yeah, took a man's life drunk in an alley. So.
In the mid-1800s, you had the California gold rush. Everybody was coming across the United States to get the gold, and at the same time, you had robbers and criminals and the old cowboy outlaws stealing it. In 1852, San Quentin was established. It started off as a barge, as a big old ship in the San Francisco Bay. During the next months and years, every day they would come off the ship and literally build San Quentin prison as we see it today.
So coming up from the lower yard right here to our right is the dungeon. And we keep it here as kind of a reminder of how far prison has come. So as you walk into the dungeon, these cells, how you see them, are exactly how they were back when this was being used. The only difference is it would have a 1-inch solid steel door on it with the 2-inch gap on the bottom where they would give the inmates the food. And when you look in here, what do you see that they're missing?
Toilets?
Toilets, bunks, windows, sinks. Basically all the amenities that our cells today have. They'd keep the inmates in here for 5 days. After 5 days, the door would open. If the inmates behaved, they would just point out that door we came in. If they didn't, right above us, there are some hooks. And on the walls behind you, there's another hook. They would string them up and beat them and throw the inmate back in there for 5 more days. In 1943, Warden Duffy condemned this unit, saying that as a department, we don't need to put hands on inmates anymore. We need to start giving them self-help or rehabilitation programs. So he was kind of the pioneer to starting the rehabilitation for the inmates.
Like he just changed the rules.
He started changing everything, took the doors off, condemned the unit.
When I got released, it was like as soon as I started working in a machine shop and I actually had a secure job, got my own place, as I got furniture, as I started building my life, it became like, okay, this is more in the past. I have all this to lose. I'm not gonna lose it, you know?
Yeah.
So you guys are already giving them a head start to like start feeling that hope that they can make it. They got something to lose now, and it's right there.
So this is one of the cells. Imagine 5 to 8 inmates in here at one time with 3 buckets. Imagine over here, 1 bucket of water, and 2 buckets over here for the restroom. There's 2 of us, and we're pretty big guys.
Exactly.
This is pretty...
And they all gotta sleep, like right here in the dark, right? Because there's no electricity.
There was no electricity when this was used.
That's insane. I get like chills just thinking about it. You know, like men actually suffered, you know, probably lost their lives, and now the doors are gone. And then today, we're about to go interview these 12 men, these 12 inmates, and give some of them a chance at an unbelievable life.
When the door was removed, it really opened a door to rehabilitation programs here at San Quentin State Prison.
I come from a hard life. I come from destruction. I was a kid. I didn't know we were homeless. I was just like, we're camping. This is an adventure. My mom took me to Hawaii trying to find a place to raise her son and her daughter. We had nothing. We ended up on the beach. I was learning how to dive and snorkel, and and catch fish, and it was awesome. I laughed, I enjoyed myself. You know, I loved my mother. Like, we would have a tent, and she used to like read me crazy books like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and Wizard of Oz and all this, and she's homeless with her kids, not understanding how we're going to eat. And I was just like, my mother loves me, and life is awesome. You know, one day I was walking down the street, and I met some of the neighborhood kids. I started getting teased for living in a tent in the bushes. I started getting teased, you know, for not having a dad and not having a car and not having good clothes. In my class, I had a kid pick me up and flip me over onto a desk, and all the kids in the class started hitting my head, hitting me from the side. I went on the bus, I had kids grab me by the shirt, take me behind. I'm still young. Like, I'm on the ground, they're kicking me, they're beating me. And every single day, I just started getting beatings and beatings and beatings. That fun-loving kid, that kid that was like, you know, enjoying life and enjoying camping and enjoying all of it, I started hating my surroundings. I was the weak guy. I was the one that everybody looked down on, that said was garbage, that was white trash, that said everything. I was nothing. Good to see you. Yes. Yes. Oh, what's up, brother? Yeah.
Now we're at a point where we need to build a core student base for this program. We decided that we were going to use a very professional approach, similar to what you would do if you were going to apply to any machine shop. So the folks had to turn in a resume and a letter stating why they wanted to be in the program. It was hard to even select 12 with our goal of getting 6 out of the 12.
Mr. Medina? Yes, sir. This way, please. You can just take that first seat right there.
What's up, man? I'm Titan. Nice to meet you.
I'm Dante.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Titan. Nice to meet you.
Dante. I was asked to participate in the interview for the new CNC machine shop. Carlos, Dante. They asked me because I run a vocational program here, and I have inmates that are involved in education, and they thought that maybe I should come sit in on this and help choose our top 6 people.
May I have a seat?
Yeah, have a seat, man. So you sent in a letter and you made the first cut, you call it, right?
Yeah.
First cut?
First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do a test. It's basic math, and it's gonna be timed for 3 minutes, and you're just gonna go through it, and we're gonna see how far you get. So go ahead and flip it over. Ready?
Yeah.
Set, go. Today, the computers do so much for you. I don't care about the trig and all that right now. I care about basic math really fast. I created this math test, and I want to see how fast they can get through this page and how far they get, and that's going to tell me a lot. Boom. Good job, man. Don't worry about it.
No one's finished it yet.
We basically want to get to know you. It's not like how fast you do the math or how far you get. We're going to look at everything, and we just want to like come up with 6 guys that can work together. They can also teach others, you know what I mean? And stuff. So, you been in here for a while?
Since I was 20, I got arrested.
20? Yeah.
Yeah, 25 now.
When do you have eligibility for a parole?
2017.
Oh, really? It's like right around the corner.
Yeah,
You're almost free.
almost.
You just want some skills, right?
I want
to
some
like
skills.
make some money.
Right.
That's
Provide
awesome,
for my
man.
family and do something that I enjoy. Having hope for a better life. My family, making them proud, making them happy, and letting them see that I am a different person and can be a different person.
So your family, you got wife, kids?
I got a daughter, and yeah, her mother drifted away a little bit, but we still stay in contact. Knowing that I missed her first steps, her first words, causes me a lot of pain and regret. I want to laugh with her. I want to watch cartoons with her. I want to be in her life.
My goal is to get to the CNC machine because I'm getting out of here, which should be next year. So whatever job I got to undertake, I got kids out there I got to try to take care of. That motivates me to stay out of situations like this and do better and try to keep that title as their hero.
Can you discuss your work history before and after coming in prison?
I played a lot of sports, so I never held down a real job as a teenager. I was always in school.
You were 19, huh?
Yeah, took a man's life drunk in an alley. So from then on, everything's been prison experience.
I remember this guy from when I was speaking. Later on, I was walking through the yard and I saw him again.
I wanted to say thanks for coming in.
Yeah, man. And he was just telling me, like, I believe in what you're saying. I get it. CNC is the path.
We got our letters in.
And I love that hunger. We're gonna clean house on the whole thing, like where all those old machines are going.
I love what you said about, starting with CNC. He shared with the entire population, we're gonna pick 6 guys that are gonna get this started. And I told myself I need to be one of those 6. This is why I came here, because I couldn't get a vocation at any of the other prisons I've been to. And not something old and stale, but something fresh and new.
You know, I'm in here for a serious crime. I want to give back. I want to repair the tears that I put in the universe. And in a place like this, you got to give us hope, because we're going to be getting out, and it would be best for us to get out with hope and a trade.
I'm not the young man that I was who committed that crime, and I know that I can be better tomorrow.
Do you see yourself changing your life and see yourself walking the walk? Can you visualize yourself as that guy?
All the time. That's one of the reasons why I'm here. I mean, you did it.
Not having a male figure around in my life, I can see an imprint and say, you know what? He's got traits that I would like to put into my character, and let's see if they'll help me become a better person. You know, they'll help me become a better man.
I'm looking for someone to say, okay, look, this is something that I can teach you to feed yourself with. Yeah. And most likely train other people to do the same thing. Right. So just your presence and then Dante's presence, that means something.
Well, if it doesn't fit, I gotta go back and make sure that,
One day I was outside and I hear, hey boy, come over here. And Kaipo was standing across the street. My neighbor was a huge Hawaiian guy, massive guy, tattoos all over the place. And his name was Kaipo Williams. Nobody would dare disrespect him. And I heard the stories about what he could do with his hands, about the things that he did that put him in prison as a youth and kept him in prison. I heard about the lives that had been lost, about garbage bags going up into the valley. But when you're looking at a kid that is getting beaten up and beaten up, I started looking at him as somebody that I wanted to be like. Not saying I wanted to hurt people or do anything, but I wanted that respect. I wanted to be able to walk down the street and go to the beach without getting beaten up. He said, boy, I'm tired of seeing you get beaten up. Come to my house after school. Through the end of school and all through the summer, I trained with Kaipo. I went back to school. I had somebody grab me and rip my shirt. I turned around, boom. All of a sudden, people looked at me differently. All of a sudden, they gave me respect. I felt good about myself for the first time.
My eligible parole date is 2018. My goal is to be a machinist. Specifically, I want to be a good machinist in the CNC.
Were you nervous coming in here?
Oh, very.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Do you want it?
I do. I want it a lot.
I could see folks sitting there, and I was surprised how nervous they appeared.
I'm going outside of myself.
And I remember thinking, these folks are fighting for their future.
I want people to look at me and say, this is somebody I trust. This is somebody who has made mistakes, but really can look back on his past and become a better person as a result of the flaws. No, I'm trustworthy.
The majority of my issues were circled around anger. It was always a hurdle in school. Didn't know how to channel it, so I ended up taking it out on others. And unfortunately, I got myself angry enough to do something that got me to prison, assaulting somebody.
How old are your kids?
My kids are 8 and 9. They'll be 11 and 12. Got 26 months left now. I talk to them, like every few weeks, write them, send them poems, letters. Sometimes they don't write back as fast as I want them to. So I'm making some Christmas cards for them right now.
That's awesome. It might be.
I'm changing for my kids. I'm changing for myself. Hopefully they see it when I get out, all my family members. I'm not that person that came into prison. I'm not that angry person, and I'm a role model for my family now.
What's up, brother? How are you, man?
How you doing, buddy?
Joseph, I don't even know why this guy's applying. Like, I'm gonna learn from this guy.
Understand, with the servos, calibrations, lead screw, compensations, how the motherboard attaches to the power supply module. How you got servo amplifier modules that attach to that to run the servo systems and the different axes. The byproduct of the reaction of the fuel cell is water. The hydrogen could be extracted from the water.
So I don't think we even have to ask about problem solving. He's been
problem solving.
I wrote up here. I was like mad scientist.
I have engineer.
right on, man.
So, do you know what a CNC is?
CN?
CNC. This is a CNC program. Do you know what a mill is, where you put these bits and you cut metal?
No, I
I'm
never.
gonna open your eyes, son. A lot of these young guys, they get distracted. They're in gangs, and they end up creating more time for themselves. They might come in for 5 years and end up getting a life sentence. We need to keep these young guys active. We need to keep them busy.
I didn't go down there, but they said that you were in prison and stuff, and that you got out and that you were making decent money. So I was like, well, I want to be in this so I can do the same thing. I'm in this predicament, but at the same time, I learned these skills so when I get out, I could use them to build a career for myself.
Can you discuss your work history before incarceration and after incarceration? Anything that's relevant to manufacturing is a bonus.
Okay, I work in the supermarket, also work in the warehouse before, and I drive in a forklift.
What about weaknesses or challenging areas?
Well, I will be honest, because I've been incarcerated over 20 years, so computer things to me is not familiar with it. It might be challenging, but to succeed, if you put a mind to it, that's what I'm doing today. I believe in myself.
Okay. You have a family, kids?
Oh, I don't have kids, but I have family. After 20 years, lost contact with them. So before it was my my biggest burden on my shoulder, but today I'm ready to open up because a lot of program helps me out. I'm able to move on,
Thank you for your patience.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, man. Hey, so we have a little. For this program, we're gonna have some lifers, and then we're gonna have other guys who are getting out in months or just a year or two.
Right now, I'm a lifer. My MERD is 2053.
These first 6, we're looking for leaders that, you know, some can stay around and teach.
Okay. The general public sees inmates as we're menaces, but I'm living proof, and I'm here to tell who's ever watching that I'm a man. I did make a poor choice, but that's not who I am. I am not my crime. My crime was murder, but that's not who I am as a man. Getting through this process and this journey that I'm on right now is to the best of my ability and getting back to my family.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I see. We do have a lot to offer if someone is willing to believe in us, and that gives us the tool to kind of believe in ourselves.
I always knew that inside I was a good person, and yet I became numb to the world. I lost my sense of care, my remorse. It's about everybody knowing that Titan is the best. My fighting, it took me into boxing, took me into, you know, all the way to top rank. I won many championships fighting. I got off the streets. I started doing good in life. But without a father figure, without role models, without leaders that could speak into my life, I still had that toughness. I still had that thing, if you disrespect me, I'm going to hit you. With a contract in hand to fight for top-ranked boxing, I went out to a club. Fights broke out. I should have never been there. I hit somebody who fell back and they hit their head on the concrete and they got severely injured. I hit somebody else. 16 years in prison.
A lot of people I knew who've been killed, so I had to get out of there. I went back to Sacramento. I ended up getting in an altercation with a gentleman one night who threatened to shoot me and shoot my mother and came over to my house. It resulted in me shooting him. And he ran off down the block and died. And I've been incarcerated since then. It happened at 19 years old.
My children are grown now. My son is 21 years old. My daughter will be 23 in a few weeks, or next month rather. She's a mother of her also. So I have a 1-year-old granddaughter.
Now, this is unprecedented, but it's an opportunity. And that's the big challenge for a lot of people leaving prison is employment. Right. Or employment that can provide a living wage, right, you know, to take care of yourself.
I can't wait to be able to go hit that pier on the Pacific Ocean and throw that crab net in there, put a crock pot on the stove and hook up some gumbo.
To hear their stories, especially when they take responsibility, they were open. I did this and I deserve to be here, but give me a chance. You have 12 people fighting for their future. Which 6 do I say, I'm sorry, your future's not now?
Thank you guys. It made me feel like a free person again. But
right, good.
I appreciate the opportunity. So
We're not here to waste time. We're here to like make a difference, man. You know what I mean? If we can't make a difference, then what are we doing? I like you, man. You did a great job today, all right?
Thank you, Ty.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, man. Thank you, guys.
We're hoping that we get the right people for this project. This is their chance.
Right on, brother.
take care.
See ya.
I'm on a positive path right now. And I fight for my company, I fight for my employees, I fight for everything. I made huge mistakes, and if I could take them back, I would. But I'm where I'm at today with my exact experiences from life, and I have an opportunity to do good after doing so much bad.
It's kind of like every step that we take, that we get closer to selecting, it almost becomes that much more important, right? Because you're doing this, but it's like it's you could make an impact in this person's life who's getting out in 2 years. If you don't select him, he might not have the skills to go and do it. You know what I mean? So it's like no joke.
All of us are looking at each other like, what do we do now? How do we go from 12 to 6 when every one of them wants their future? Here's what I would propose is that you've got the list of the folks. We'll get copies of these. Can you make us copies of these? And then we'll propose, kind of the order that we think.
The next time that I come down, we take all 12 to the machine shop, and I'll stand in the shop and I'll just have like a talk with them about it, and I'll tell them like what we've decided and the reason. I've never done anything like this. I've never been a part of something like this. I can only go off what I feel inside. Cool, man.
Oh, it was good.
So do you have a copy of the list?
We come to a decision,
So you guys can't say anything.
and I know it was the right decision.
On the next Built Behind Bars.
I hope I'm one of those 6 people because I really need this.
If I'm not chosen, well, he lost a great guy.
We're gonna take out all the old technology, all the old machines. Sounds gone. Bring in new technology.
Gonna be something big at San Quentin.
It has all come to this point in time. I wanna shake your hand. You're the first one.